Morning, everyone, and welcome to the big debate. We are sorry we couldn't come to you yesterday due to some technical constraints. However, today we'll be reviewing the one of the biggest game and the most competitive and outstanding games of the competition, which is the game between Nigeria and Egypt, who of course are known to be two African giants. However, we have also watched the first day of the competition, so every team has played as at today or as at now, and tomorrow the second round of games will be starting. So at least we do have an impression of what has been going on in the African Cup of Nations hosted by Cameroon. We can give an impression of what we've witnessed in the stadium, the tour of the population. However, for this edition specifically, we will focus on one of the most impressive and outstanding games of the competition, which is the game between Nigeria and Egypt. So it was a Group C fixture. And with me in the studio today again is Tru3Lion. So good evening, Tru3Lion, and welcome again to the big debate.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. It's a wonderful day, beautiful day out there, and beautiful football all around. So I'm happy to talk about the game.
Yeah, it's a pleasure always having you here, and thank you for creating time to join us. And sorry, yesterday, due to some technical constraints, we couldn't discuss most of the matches yesterday, and even we won't be going to the details of the matches today. But we've watched all the day one games, every country or every team taking part in this African Nation Cup has played. And one of the games that we have picked to discuss today is the game between Nigeria and Egypt. Know that Egypt has won this competition many times than any other, more times than any other team in Africa or any other team taking part in Africa. It should also be known that for some of us, we believe Egypt has one of the best or the best player now in the world. However, Nigeria came and played as a team. So to start with, could you give me an overall impression of the game, the tactics of the two coaches? Remember, on our preview before the competition started, you mentioned to me that you were not very confident of the current Nigeria coach because he was just appointed before the competition. We didn't know his coaching experience. So I'm talking about Mr. Austin Eguavoin. So what is your impression of him, the Nigerian squad, as well as the game after the first match?
Well, Iguavon, the coach, has actually surprised many. And also because they were missing, Nigeria actually missing about 4 key players. They're missing 2 strikers, the Napoli striker.
Yeah, they have Dennis of Watford and Osihem of is it Napoli or Atalanta? Napoli.
Napoli. They got to go Napoli. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nigeria was coming into this. No one actually knew how they were going to react. But after the first game, they've actually put a lot of questions that people had, question marks that people had away. But Egypt has not actually played as expected. Queiroz looked like the guy that was just appointed. He was unable to adjust onto tactics, especially like in the second half. I expected him to show something good, maybe with his subs, but his team was actually poor.
Okay, so could you discuss the tactics of both coaches? Let's start with Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
Put in mind the fact that there is a player in Egypt who is like the most feared striker in the world at this time, in Mo Salah.
Yes, of course, I can discuss those tactics, not in isolation, because there are 2 teams going against each other. However, a single hand cannot tie a bundle.
Of course,
it's easy nowadays. If you've been watching the tournaments, as you earlier said, you know that teams are defending better. There are not a lot of goals being scored, so teams are defending as a group. If there's need be to double team a player, they'll double team or cut supply. And that's what actually happened for Nigeria. And Nigeria was doing a high press. We're doing high press with 3, sometimes 4, and it was very effective. Kelechi was doing a high press. Also, my man of the match, Moses Simon.
Yeah, Simon Moses, yeah.
Exactly. Simon Moses was also doing a good job. Then you also have Chukwueze, was actually doing a good job. So all those players were actually doing that high press, and then they had the midfield backing them. You had the guy from Leicester, Ndidi, one
Yes.
of my best holding midfielders. He actually did a good job. So Egypt was unable to actually, because as a team they want to pass, but when they started the game, they were actually going long balls, and even with the
Mhm.
long balls, Nigeria was the team winning the second balls.
Yeah.
Nigeria
So
was the team.
they tried to play the long balls. Mo Salah is not very big, and there is one player you had mentioned to me before we started the show. So it is the big Nigerian defender in Tru3Lion.
Yes, I mean sometimes the long balls doesn't really mean that you must win the first the first ball that comes, but
Mm.
the second ball, okay, the hustle, make sure that when the ball is being let's say headed or
At the
deflated,
back, yeah.
then you have to make sure that you try to win that second ball, because if you watch Egypt, their first three balls they went long. They were
Yes.
not going like down the middle. They were going to the sides, into the channels, but they were not winning, you know, that second ball, and that caused them a problem. Even when they tried to play from behind, now they had their midfield. The guy from Arsenal, El Nani.
El Nene, yeah.
They also had Fatty playing that holding midfield for Egypt. Those guys are not very creative, So you're passing them the ball. They're even finding difficulties like creating space or passing lanes. So Nigeria was pressing, and that actually put Egypt into problems. And another guy that was a playmaker who plays also in England, that was a total catastrophe. I think
That's
was replaced.
Trezeguet, who plays for
Yes,
Aston Villa.
exactly. He was replaced in the 56 minutes, something like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
But
He wasn't impressive at all, yeah.
he was a waste. And when the coach replaced him, brought in Zizo. Zizo was actually better. Zizo is a place for, I think he plays in Egypt. He plays in
Okay.
Egypt, and he did a good job. There were two passes. The only chance that was created for Mo Salah, and that Mo Salah was found it difficult to actually bring the ball under control, and it was a weak shot at the end, comfortable save by the Nigerian goalkeeper. I mean, that was it. But Nigeria actually surprised a lot. High
Yeah.
press,
So
and
watching the game, okay, we thought that Egypt will dominate the game, or if not dominate the game, they will play better. But overall, as soon as the game started, Egypt has those long balls. Eventually, Nigeria were all in control.
yes, Nigeria actually came with the press. I've been talking about the pressing, and
Yeah,
it was effective because they were doing it as a team, and then they were also better on the ball. Their ball control, especially Moses Simon. That's who
yes.
actually that's my man of the match.
Yeah, it's one player that I'm going to ask you to really talk a little bit about in the next few minutes.
Yeah, that's my man of the match because what he was doing, he was defending and he was attacking. Okay, when he needed to defend, he was defending. Because in the second half, what Queiroz did, and that worked, it worked. But it's just that the whole team did not catch up to because the change he made when he brought out Trezeguet, because Trezeguet was not able to supply Mo Salah. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he brought in Zizo. Zizo was supplying Mo Salah. Zizo was actually playing. That made Moses Simon, if you realize, like towards 30 minutes the end of the day, Moses Simon was doing mostly like they were doing mostly defending, and he trying to
Depending, yeah.
on the counter attack.
So
So
in the
that
first
made
half of the game, Moses Simon practically owned the left wing.
Oh yes, of course, and he had some chances. He had a side
Mm-hmm.
netting. He should have maybe scored. He had that side netting. He was creating all type of troubles for Egypt, and also Nigeria was very successful, even coming in the middle, and that's
In
where
the
the
middle, yeah.
goal actually came from. There was no one who actually closed down quickly on
Yeah, Nacho.
yeah, exactly. And then when the ball, he had actually two touches, in
Yeah,
the box.
yeah. And those were in the box, which means he was given too much space.
Exactly. He was giving too much space and great goal. And on the other side, if Nigeria was more clinical, if they were more clinical, I know that they are missing some key players, but they were not more clinical. And down the line, I know some people already saying that Nigeria are flat out favorites. And although I was convinced by their play, I don't think Nigeria are still like clear favorite, because with that type of finishing, they should have won this game by 2 or 3-0 against Egypt,
Yeah,
because Egypt was
but if you consider their finishing, they created some chances. But we've watched games in this competition, apart from the opening game of the fixture with 2 goals, no other team scored more than 1 goal. So it's either a competition where there is either poor finishing or outstanding defending.
No, I will not say poor finishing across the board. I've singled out like defending. I see teams defend better, but
Okay.
Nigeria created opportunities where they should have
Yes.
scored. I know that the Egyptian goalkeeper Mohamed had two great saves, but apart from that, I saw some finishing that was lacking. There was one ball, Uche miscontrolled the ball.
Yes. Yeah,
Totally
I remember.
miscontrolled.
Yes. On
Had
the
it
right side.
the ball was not even in the goal. Had it controlled that ball, and it
Yeah.
was not a difficult ball to control. Had it
Yeah.
controlled
And
the
then
ball,
there was another one that
to
he
score.
ran like from the center line, and like the last control before he had to shoot, he practically gave the ball to the keeper.
Exactly. It's actually finishing like that. When I see good defending, I can tell it's good defending. But when you
Okay.
cannot control the ball, or when you cannot make that final pass for your player to score, then I say, okay, they are not clinical enough. And in order to win this competition, sometimes because they will meet better opposition.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, we know Egypt was good, but
I mean,
do you know? And
somehow,
one funny thing,
or maybe it's just Nigerian tactics. They didn't give Egypt time with the ball, so the way they pressed, so they started defending from in front.
yes, of course, they didn't give Egypt time with the ball, but if Egypt realized, that's why I say the adjustment that they did. If they
Mm-hmm.
realized they were
Yeah.
also sloppy. Sometimes I saw Egypt was sloppy, the passing was sloppy. So if you don't come with a tough mentality, okay, they had a game plan that got destroyed by Nigeria.
Nigeria.
They should be able to, as professionals, able to readjust. And these are players that most of their players are coming from the local leagues from Egypt.
Yes.
They have a good
They do play together.
yeah, they have a good league. So they should be able to. That's where I look at the coach. I look at Queiroz because since Queiroz came as coach to Egypt since September, Mo Salah has not scored a goal. So he has not solved that problem because last Nations Cup, when Egypt, last two editions where Egypt actually did not win, I know against Cameroon, I said there was one thing. Egypt has to figure out how to serve Mo Salah, how to put him in the best position to
To
score.
score.
I know one person, a friend of mine asked me, why did Mo Salah not play on the left? I simply told him, Mo Salah did not play on the left because he doesn't defend. And Moses Simon was causing havoc.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know.
I think if
So,
Mo Salah played on the left or the right with Moses Simon there, as poor as Nigeria were poor in finishing, I think Moses Simon would have created more opportunities.
yes, because Moses Simon needed or Chukwueze, both
Yes.
wings, no matter
Yeah,
where Mo Salah would have played. I mean, on the right. They created problems where if Mo Salah was playing on those wings and was not helping, it would have been catastrophic for Egypt. So of course you try to make because it's not Liverpool, you try to
yeah,
play Mo
yes.
Salah maybe
It's a
central
different team. Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
where you accommodate his inability to defend all the time. So I mean that's why Mo Salah actually did not play as he does play in Liverpool. So the national team is you have to it's give and take. You lose some of your best qualities, but you have to
You
accommodate.
have to yeah, you have to gain some.
Exactly. So I'll blame the coach for that. I'll blame Queiroz for that.
Okay. So what are your expectations for Nigeria and Egypt for the upcoming games?
Yeah, for the upcoming games, the groups that they do have, I expect Nigeria. Those are the teams I actually expected to go through. Egypt will still go through, but in order for Egypt to be better or to meet their objectives in this competition, they have to learn from that defeat. And Egypt has done it before. Egypt has come
Mhm.
back when they lost their first game. I remember Ghana. Is it Ghana? What competition was that? It was yes 2000. Was it 2008?
Yeah, I think 2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they lost their first game and they came back to win the finals against Cameroon. So Egypt is a team; those guys are tough mentally. They will be back.
Okay, so that is one of the games that actually picked your mind. Which other games which were played in the first day of play do you impressed you most, if
Yeah,
any?
I actually watched some great highlights with that was Ghana. It was Ghana against was it Ghana played Morocco?
Morocco, yes.
Yeah, Ghana played Morocco. I expected that game to be a good game, and that was a good game. But I was also impressed by actually Tunisia 1-0. Tunisia is a team that they are always they do good on paper, but their football doesn't match up, and they usually have difficulties against physical teams. And
Yeah.
if you look at Mali, Mali has a midfield. Some of their star players did not even actually start. Mali has a midfield that is very, very competitive, man. Mali is a team
Yeah,
that
and
actually
Mali and Burkina Faso were the two teams you picked as your dark horses.
exactly. So Mali is showing up. I know Burkina Faso will show up too. So that was quite impressive.
Okay, we wouldn't be talking this more on this edition. We'll probably have to arrange something some other time to discuss. But what is your overall impression of the first day of play for all the
And
teams
the
and the
first,
competition as well?
yeah, the first day of play. If I have to look at some positives, the pitch in the stadiums are good. Football
Yeah,
is good. You cannot complain that it was due to bad condition of the field. I know Algeria was complaining, but that's humidity. We're complaining about humidity in Douala, and if you go live in Douala, if you've been to Douala, you know the humidity there is actually crazy. But I expect maybe some of the teams that have called the better teams like Ivory
hmm,
Coast, Cameroon, all these teams. I expect them maybe to up their game because I was disappointed with the style. Although most of them won, but I'm still disappointed with the style of play. I see less experienced team playing more confident football, pushing the ball around than teams, like Cameroon, teams like Ivory Coast. I don't know what's going on with this guy, Pepe.
yeah.
I saw.
Sometimes when you come into a competition and people think you are a favorite, you are more cautious. There are some of these teams that an example of that team is a team like Sierra Leone against Algeria. They came out, they didn't care, they were not afraid, they had nothing to lose.
Yeah, I saw their goalkeeper. A lot of people, he did good. He was man of the match.
Yeah.
A lot of people praising him and all that. But guess what? I watched that game. It was more like poor finishing from Algeria. Poor finishing from Algeria.
And I
Their
think I
goalkeeper,
would also say the Senegal game was also poor finishing because I saw some opportunities that the goalkeeper should have been worked, but like they didn't even take the shot.
exactly. Even the game, I was just calling Pepe from Ivory
Yes.
Coast.
Yeah.
I like that guy, but I don't know what's his problem. Sometimes
Okay,
just
Tru3Lion, yeah, it's always good having you. We've run 2 minutes after above time, so we'll probably come back and discuss the games of the first day. But it was a pleasure having you. And today we discussed the first game between Nigeria and Egypt, the Group C game, which has so far has been the game of the tournament. And if you are watching us, you are watching the big debate, and we are doing an overview of the first day of play, and it's more specifically the game between Egypt and Nigeria of the ongoing African Cup of Nations. And it was a pleasure having you, Tru3Lion, and thank you for always joining us.
thank you, Dr. T. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
and yeah, we will probably call you later today or tomorrow to discuss an overview of the games tomorrow. Cameroon is playing their second game tomorrow. Cameroon is a host, so we always have to talk about it. For everyone out there, please have a wonderful evening.